These chicks are animals, literally. You guys are sickos. You see this comment, hugely disappointed and lost all respect for both Sue Bird and Tina Charles.
It's Tina Charles talking about the entire situation for the Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark.
WNBA veterans Sue Bird and Tina Charles sparked major controversy on July 12th, 2025, sending shockwaves through the basketball community, and fans are furious. During their podcast, the two appeared to laugh about what many viewers felt was a dirty hit on Caitlin Clark. The reaction online was immediate and intense. Social media quickly exploded with criticism, with many fans calling their comments a clear betrayal. Now, a growing number of supporters are saying the backlash is so strong that the two legends may have effectively canceled themselves.
I'm really disappointed in Sue Bird. She's been largely positive when it's come to things involving Caitlin Clark.
Sue Bird and Tina Charles appeared on a podcast and, according to many fans, treated what looked like a clear cheap shot as if it were something to laugh about. During the discussion, Charles casually dismissed the incident. Bird, meanwhile, didn't interrupt or challenge the remark. Instead, she joined in the laughter. For a lot of fans, that reaction was the turning point, with many saying that moment shattered the trust they once had in them.
You want to talk about nuclear backlash against these two. Now she's the managing director for the USA women's national team. In other words, the Olympics.
These aren't simply two retired players having a casual conversation. Sue Bird now serves as the managing director for the USA women's national basketball team program. That role carries serious authority, including influence over decisions like Olympic roster selections. It's far more than just a symbolic title. Because of that position, many fans are now questioning the situation. They're asking how someone in such a leadership role can claim to represent fairness and integrity while appearing to joke about the treatment of the league's biggest rising star, Caitlin Clark.
He said the refs aren't doing their jobs. They're not regulating the sport. You know this is a major topic.
To be clear, many fans argue this went beyond normal physical basketball. They say it looked like a foul that was never called. And in their view, it crossed the line. If you go back and watch the Connecticut Sun game footage, supporters of Caitlin Clark point to several moments. In those clips, Clark appears to get shoved first, and then struck from behind with what some describe as a closed fist. Different camera angles circulating online seem to show the contact more clearly, and in a few frames people claim you can even spot someone grabbing part of her hair. Because of that, many viewers insist the play didn't look like ordinary basketball contact. They argue it went far beyond normal competitiveness.
Like, Tina Charles did not punch Caitlin Clark in the back. Watch it in real time.
But when that footage began spreading online, fans say the response they saw wasn't accountability, it was laughter. Instead of clear answers, the conversation seemed to shift toward dismissing the situation. During the discussion, Tina Charles appeared to brush off the moment, even suggesting at one point that it wasn't her in the middle of the confusion. Meanwhile, both Charles and Sue Bird leaned into a kind of street-tough attitude, as if it were something to boast about. At one point, someone even joked that people were saying Tina had taken Caitlin Clark back to Southside Jamaica. For many fans, that comment didn't land as humor at all. Instead, critics argued it sounded like they were making light of going after the most-watched player in women's basketball.
Caitlin Clark's shooting slump began right after this game. Injury that never fully recovered, ? Punch, getting decked.
Caitlin Clark hasn't spoken much about the situation publicly, and she usually doesn't have to. Most of the time, her performance on the court says everything. But after that particular matchup, fans noticed a shift. Her shooting percentages dropped, her playing time seemed reduced, and overall she didn't appear to be at her usual level. Some observers called it just a temporary slump. Others, however, started suggesting it might be the lingering effect of an injury that no one in the league has openly addressed. From that perspective, the shove and the hit during that moment weren't just a routine scuffle. Some believe it could have been the kind of blow that kept her out or limited for weeks. Yet, according to critics, no one has truly been held responsible.
And I'm sure she is laughing it off. I would say because she doesn't want to retort from the WNBA.
And many critics are now asking the same question. Where is Kathy Engelbert in all of this? The commissioner of the WNBA hasn't taken any visible action so far. According to frustrated fans, there's been no fine, no flagrant ruling, and not even a public statement addressing the situation. Some are also pointing toward Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, who oversees the league at a broader level. From their perspective, the silence coming from leadership has been noticeable. For many supporters watching the controversy unfold, the lack of response feels like a failure of leadership, and an increasing number of people online are beginning to say exactly that. What's made the situation even worse for many fans is how deliberate the silence seems. Critics say the podcast avoided the core issues entirely. There was no discussion of the circulating footage and no real acknowledgement of the backlash that followed. Instead, the conversation moved on quickly, leaving Caitlin Clark to face the fallout on her own. That reaction has only intensified the anger online. Now, a growing number of fans are openly voicing their frustration. Some claim the situation feels like a coordinated effort to downplay what happened, accusing parts of the WNBA establishment of protecting their own. Supporters point out that Clark has helped drive massive attention to the league, bringing record TV ratings, sold-out arenas, and a wave of new fans. Because of that, critics argue the backlash looks less like ordinary rivalry and more like gatekeeping fueled by resentment and jealousy, something they warn could ultimately harm the league itself.
In my opinion, it looks like she punched Caitlin Clark in the back. That's my opinion. That's what I see.
Because Caitlin Clark isn't just another rookie entering the league. Many fans see her as the biggest star to arrive in women's basketball in decades. She's drawing huge crowds, boosting ticket sales, and moving massive amounts of merchandise. Yet critics argue that instead of embracing that momentum, parts of the WNBA and some veteran figures allowed her to be targeted physically and then mocked publicly, without stepping in. Even longtime supporters of Sue Bird say their feelings have changed, claiming the situation left them disappointed and betrayed. Meanwhile, critics say the circulating footage involving Tina Charles only intensified the outrage. In the end, what many expected to be just another moment of league drama turned into widespread backlash. According to frustrated fans, the spark that ignited the controversy was the perceived arrogance, captured on a microphone, of people laughing about an incident that many believe should never have happened in the first place.
There wouldn't be any talk about this being a funny situation and Marina gonna Marina. Like, no one's gonna say Alyssa's gonna Alyssa, when she's arguably the dirtiest player in the league.
Right after that game, the one where Caitlin Clark was shoved, struck from behind, and possibly even grabbed by the hair, things on the court just weren't the same. If you check the stats, it's clear. Her shooting percentages dropped significantly. The same player who had been sinking 25-foot shots as if she were playing on a Nerf hoop in her driveway suddenly struggled to hit the rim. And it wasn't just an off night. This slump persisted for a while, leaving fans and analysts concerned.
Versus Indiana Fever.
They were like
I feel like it was like the perfect depiction of New York at the start.
Some observers labeled it a slump, while others suggested she was merely adjusting to the season. But if you actually watched Caitlin Clark that night and saw what happened, it tells a different story. It didn't look like simple adjustment. It looked like she was trying to play through pain. Fans noticed she seemed off, not fully herself on the court. Some nights she was limping, occasionally holding her back, and even sitting out unexpectedly. Sound familiar? Many feel it's the aftermath of that hit, not just normal fluctuations in performance.
Caitlin Clark really has not been right at all, particularly shooting and from an injury standpoint, ever since that Marina Mabrey, Tina Charles, we haven't put enough emphasis on her.
Fans didn't come to watch drama. They came for basketball, elite talent, and fair competition. Instead, they're seeing what feels like two sets of rules. One protecting the old guard of WNBA veterans like Sue Bird and Tina Charles, and another leaving Caitlin Clark exposed. Bird, now Team USA's managing director, not only laughed along on a podcast mocking Clark, but also ignored real footage of her being hit. Fans see this as gatekeeping, favoritism, and betrayal. On top of that, Clark is reportedly isolated on her own team, with only a couple of teammates showing support. The league had a generational star and national attention but fumbled the opportunity, leaving fans angry, disillusioned, and demanding accountability, all while Clark's silence speaks louder than any podcast laughter.